So you have like a surprise guest?
No surprise guests.
Ta-da!
What is the weirdest or sketchiest thing you've ever done to learn about herbs?
Oh, to learn about.
I love I'm a plant person.
Welcome to the Herbalists After Hours, where the passing hours and the passion flowers, the vine unravels and the seeds will travel, and the arc can happen at the where community gathers, like elderberry boosts and immunity faster. Tend the garden and the path is ours, coming together to make it better with the
Jim, what's bringing you joy these days?
Oh, it's bringing me joy these days. This weekend,
Yeah?
it's bringing me joy. The Great Lakes Herb Fair. It's pretty joyful. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, why is that?
Because there's a lot of cool plant people here. And the people who put it on, which include me, but is not mostly me, definitely not mostly me, are awesome. And we all rock, and people come here and they're really happy. And when people are really happy because of something that I've invested some energy into, I feel that makes me feel pretty happy.
You got to do the keynote this time. How was that process?
Daunting. Daunting. Yeah, it was daunting. Yeah. I think a lot of people think that just because I frequently appear to be teaching in a way that seems entirely off the cuff, or I've heard people say effortless, which is not quite accurate. That's like teaching something. And when it's like a keynote isn't really, you're not teaching. You're supposed to be like inspiring for 45 minutes or something. And that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. You were set up really well, though, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, you got introduced.
It was kind of all right.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, Seven Song opted out, so they had to find someone.
I was wondering.
They had to find someone else on the fly.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
How long did you spend writing his intro?
Oh wait, was it you that did it? Oh, that's right. Yes.
That was like 2 minutes. I think I spent an hour writing it and then like 2 hours practicing it and another 5 hours stressing about
I
it.
thought you were just
For 90
trying to
seconds.
recycle the shirt for another go around.
Classic. I don't have my shirt anymore. It got lost in the luggage.
Oh.
Mishap. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Some we'll know who stole the luggage later on. They're like, this is
someone
like
around
they're
Detroit
a
wearing
one
a
of three shirt thing going on. Did they say that on them? Like 1 of 1 or 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4?
We're only
Up their value, though, for sure. Yeah.
Jim, how do you define herbalism?
Oh, I'm pretty inclusive with it. I think like if you use plants to help people, that's herbalism.
I think I have a similar definition.
Yeah, I mean it's really because what I don't like, and I know other people feel differently, which is totally fine. Because all these people were like, I'm not really an herbalist. I'm like, well, what the hell would you be? I mean, if you cook food, you're a cook, right? And if you take pictures, you're a photographer. And if you paint, you're a painter. So if you use herbs to help people, or yourself and other people, you would be an herbalist. That doesn't mean you're a professional herbalist or a clinical herbalist or a practicing herbalist. You could even be a not very good herbalist. Like there are not really good herbalists doing things like I just saw about
Rosalee.
suggesting
JK.
that, just soaking cloves in water does all of this ridiculous stuff. Those people are still herbalists. If that's what they're doing, they're still herbalists. They're just not very...
Mason had it was very similar to this. You want to talk?
Well, it's making me wonder. I've asked this question a lot, actually, and I have gotten lots of different answers, actually, surprisingly. But what was that for? When you interviewed me for the Dandelion episode, you asked me a similar question, and I was like, well, I play basketball regularly, so I'm a basketball player. I'm not in the NBA,
right?
But I'm still playing basketball.
Yeah.
I identify as a basketball player. I'm a chess player. I'm not on like Magnus Carlsen's level, but I play every day and I enjoy it. So I'm a chess player. You know what I mean? So yeah, same thing with herbalists and herbal.
I see a lot of
herbalism.
people who are like in my book. They're absolutely herbalists that are up like they feel like they're not good enough to call themselves an herbalist, and I'm like, you are an herbalist.
Totally.
It's kind of like if you're teaching or if you're practicing. As long as you stay within your scope of like mostly what you're fine. You can call yourself an herbalist, but like if you're not like if you've been studying herbs for maybe like 7 days, probably don't call yourself a clinical herbalist, you know?
Or a master herbalist.
Yeah. People have lots of thoughts on the master herbalist
Totally.
thing. Like, I kind of think, like, I don't know about it. And there's other people who talk about, like, you know, master electricians, or it's a trades thing.
Totally. That's a
And
good point.
that's okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of don't care what anyone calls themselves, because I just say herbalist.
Yeah.
I don't add anything before or after it, because then I'm safe.
Do you have a business card that says Jim McDonald Herbalist?
Usually the end of my emails.
Okay.
Every once in a while I have a business card.
Okay.
There might be some floating around.
I want a Jim McDonald business card.
Yeah. They're hand printed, and you can see where I've perforated them. You know, 'cause
Okay.
one time I made these two-sided business cards, and on one side they said Jim McDonald Herbalist and had like the email and the phone number, and on the other side they had like maybe like a printout that said goldenrod, and it had like a little, like, you know, sentence fragment that said, you know, something you could use goldenrod for, and then another one had something about plantain, and those were really, I thought that
Smart.
those would be cool and work better. But I think most people get business cards and they take them and then they put them down somewhere, and
100% that
never
happens.
quite see
No one
them
actually
again.
uses them. When I worked at Mountain Rose Herbs, our business cards, we all got to choose a plant. So I remember a dandelion. And you know Thomas at Mountain Rose?
I do.
Yeah, his business card, I always laugh about this, it said onion.
That's
That was his
pretty good.
herb.
That's
Allium spa, I don't remember. Yeah.
oh, that was like his herb, and not
Yeah,
his,
yeah.
not
Like
his,
mine's a dandelion terrastium.
not his job
officinale.
title?
No. That was his herb of choice, his favorite.
Well, I
herb,
mean,
yeah.
like the job title would just be herbalist,
Yeah.
right? You know, sometimes these people say like, you know, like founder of whatever, or co-founder or whatever, or, you know, like head cheese or something like that. And I'm just
cheese.
like, I don't know. I just write herbalist.
I like it.
Yep.
Simple.
With 2 little tildes on the end.
Yeah, you and your grammar.
Yeah, I like the tildes.
Well, Jim, you just gave a keynote on the virtues of herbalists.
I did.
Would you be so kind as to choose one of those virtues to share with us as something you think that's important for herbalists?
Punctuality.
You got
Like,
that in spades.
if you have like, you're gonna do something, should like get there on time and not have your guests be getting there before you, and just like wait.
So you're ragging on us right now.
What?
Totally.
No.
We were a little late today, folks.
I will go with, because I'm sporting Christy Tillman, Herbal Kindness, Herbals. I just said Herbal Kindness is the name. But Christy makes awesome products, and Christy is super cool. And who doesn't want a shirt that says Herbal Kindness, which you too can order
It's a cool shirt.
in
I'm going to give
different
you one.
colors. And it's in this cool orange color, which is one of my faves.
Call it terracotta.
Terracotta, if you will. Yeah.
Terracotta, or like a kind of Robin's chesty sort of color, right?
Nice. I love
Very naturalist of you to
Or
say.
a rust or a burnt orange. There's lots of options.
Okay.
They're not all shades of orange.
Hey friends, just a quick break from the show to tell you about one of our sponsors, and that's Herb Rally.
Oh, wow, that's me. It's
you.
Awesome. Well, I did want to let the audience know about Herb Rally's herbal freebies, which you could get at herbalfreebies.com. And there's always around 13 or so freebies in there, and this includes like video classes, downloadable audio classes, magazines. We've got a 91-page botanical anthology in there, an 80-something page plant healer magazine in there as well, all for free at herbalfreebies.com.
I love the Herbal Freebies, and I know when you sign up, you get on your newsletter, which I love. I think your newsletter is the place to be if you want to know just what's going on in the herbal community, right? You have all your herbal events going on. You highlight various classes that are going on. I learned about so many herbalists from your newsletter too, which I really appreciate. But maybe my favorite thing,
What's that, your calendula ebook inside of the herbal freebies section?
I was not going to say that, is Mason's Musings. We get to hear a little bit about what's going on in your world, your thoughts, etc. So it's a wonderful newsletter. I read each and every one.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun putting that together for the past several to many years. And like Rosalee said, we really try to keep you all up to date about what's going on in the herbal community and everything else in the herb rally world. So thanks so much for the kind words.
Herbalfreebies.com.
That's right. Back to the show.
Okay, back to kindness.
Back to kindness. Kindness is just really important to me because I feel like it's just the best way to treat people. You know, even when, because I know someone's like, except for those people. Those people, even if you are not the right person to be kind with them, they will always be those people if no one is kind to them. You know, like the absence of kindness I don't think helps anything and probably hinders most things. And in a world and in a culture where like unkindness is the norm, the absence of kindness has been normalized, and people see kindness as like, I think that that's problematic.
I liked in your keynote you said people have asked me to do things or wanted things for me, and they've done it in an unkind way, and it wasn't helpful for you.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it makes many people very upset. You know what I forgot to say, but I can say now? Oh, and I really wanted to.
Here's your platform.
I can't do the entire quote, but I can just do the first part of it by Octavia Butler. Kindness eases change. I printed out the whole thing so that I wouldn't get words wrong because it's written pretty much perfectly. Kindness eases change is the first line. And I think that when we think about how hard change can be, to change your belief system, to change things in the world around you, to change the way that you're interacting with other people in a way that might be for the better. It's not an easy thing to do. Change is tough, change is not super easy. But kindness eases that process. So that can be kindness to other people and also be kindness to ourselves. Because I feel like, as an herbalist, a lot of times people come to me and obviously they're like, what kind of herb should I take? And, absolutely because I'm an herbalist, I have thoughts about that. And absolutely I'm probably going to have thoughts about like eating more greens and making sure they get, certain nutrients, which usually includes magnesium, among others, and exercising more, but also like being kind to oneself. If we're not able to be kind to ourselves when we're trying to resolve an issue or heal or grow, that makes it harder. So kindness
like
eases
that.
change.
Like
And
that.
also
It's not just
Octavia
about
Butler,
others.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that. Not just about like being kind to others, but kind to ourselves.
kind to ourselves.
Yeah.
It's easy to not be kind to
I
ourselves.
mean, I'm never hard on myself, but
Yeah.
I will keep that,
Well then.
put in the back of my mind to share with others who might need that advice.
Did you want to talk about the similarities between kind and nature, if I recall
Yes,
correctly?
Wendell Berry. Now this also I cannot say the whole quote out loud.
Yeah.
That's a reading thing. But he goes back looking at sort of like where did the word kind come from, and it is related to kin, and was at a time a synonym of the word nature. And it's really easy to like do what I want to do is be like, oh, nature is kind. A lot of things get eaten very terribly by nature, and like this nature. But I think actually it's more like when we say things are of a similar nature, right? They're of a similar kind, and that might seem like, oh, it's not nature. But if we can see that we, people, humans, and nature are of one kind and are not separate, and if we can see that the other people, and I know this is hard sometimes, often, maybe a lot, that other people are all of one kind, we can relate to each other more. We can see ourselves in other people more, which can be hard. But it can allow us to be kind to people in a way that might create different kinds of change and shift, because kindness eases change. Yeah.
Nice tie in there.
Yeah, everything goes back to Octavia Butler.
Always does. Well, we were supposed to read that Rosemary Gladstar book question quote. I don't suppose you have that from your paper.
I cannot.
Should we just skip that?
No, we could put it in. We could just like, do an audio in.
Image of it.
Cool.
Show an image of it. Yeah. So it's a beautiful quote by you.
Yeah, I didn't know. When it was being read out, I was like, that's cool. Whose is that? And she said it was mine. I was like, really? I wrote
It's
that?
really one of my favorite quotes from the book. So set this up. This is Rosemary Gladstar's latest book, Generosity of Plants, and a quote that Jim probably wrote is in there.
No, I found it. I did find it.
Okay.
It was in a Thanksgiving email.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I found those out.
And the quote is about how the community supports the herbalist and how the herbalist exists because of the community.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the screen so people actually see it. But we were wondering, how has your community shaped you as an herbalist?
Well, I couldn't do. I mean, like, I wouldn't be here. This fair, I don't know. Maybe the fair would be happening without me. But like, if I'm an herbalist and like herbalists only exist because our community support us. I don't see how that can work any other way. Like, you can still be an herbalist and just be doing things for yourself. Okay, so there's that. Because again, inclusive definition of herbalist. But once you want to help other people or share the love of plants or the connection with nature with other people, you need the other people to be involved. And so like, if I would have been, you know, like I was nagged into teaching by people who were, you know, very naggy but kind, you know, that saw something in me and were like, you should, you know, please teach some classes. If I would have done that and no one would have come, and I would have showed up and, you know, with a 7-hour herb walk planned, which is my first class, and no one would have been there, I probably wouldn't have scheduled another one. I probably would have been like, oh, okay, I guess this is just something that I'm going to do for me. But people coming to classes, they're supporting me, right? They're supporting me in the work that I do. And sometimes when I think about people who talk about power dynamics, right? You know, like, oh, I am the teacher of the class, which implies like I am the leader of the class. And there is something there, but it's not a one-way thing, because the only reason I'm able to teach a class or lead a class or facilitate a class is because people are coming. They are my employers, right? And if I don't do a good job, they might not want to come. And then I wouldn't be able to do this. And then I'd have to get like a real job. And I don't know what I would do. That would be a struggle to try and figure out what to do. It would be a real struggle to like have someone else tell me like, I need you to do this and 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 do it this way. That would be hard for me. Yeah. I've done that before, but I'm so far from it now that I think it'd be hard to get back to.
Yeah. I do feel like I've heard you talk about, maybe you are not the best herbalist to talk to about this as far as like how to make a living as an herbalist, but we decided to
talk to about that.
We still would appreciate your opinion in a society that commodifies everything. Do you have any advice for those that want to make a living as an herbalist? The many different ways.
I think like probably the most important thing is like do your best all the time. Like do your best all the time. Like, even though I've been teaching for decades now, and even though I have acquired a good reputation, you know, every once in a while I have a class and not a lot of people sign up for it. You know, there's not a lot of people there, and I might think like, you know, I'm going out to this place and only so many people signed up, and, you know, I still like teaching. I still get to be out with the plants or talk about the plants, but, you know, I am trying to make a living. But when I get there, I have to do as good a job teaching the class as if the class were packed. Like, you know, it's like that's the gig. Like if you thought about musicians, right? Like if you went to see, you know, a band that you really loved and they showed up and played the show and they were like not trying very hard. They're not really into it.
I've experienced that before.
I know, I have too. I felt really disappointed. I'm like, oh, come on, because I'm here. Like I'm here for the whole thing. Like I don't, you know, one thing is there are classes that I've taught so many times, like, you know, well over 100 or, you know, more than hundreds of times, or how many times I've talked about cleavers, or how many times I've talked about nettle. I have to go and like still be connected with the wonder that I have over just how freaking cool nettle is, so that when I'm talking about nettle, I don't sound bored and like I'm reciting something, you know, that I wrote like 2 decades ago, and I'm so sick of it. In the same way that when you go see your favorite band and they play that song that you love, that they've played a gazillion times over, you want them to play it with the kind of passion that makes it the song that you love.
Right.
Like, and if you don't do that, it seems like it's going to be kind of hard to, you know, to have people leave your class feeling like, yeah, like, oh yeah, I'm so glad that I did that. Because then they tell people, and, you know, I'd way rather have like word of mouth promotion than me saying.
It's the best marketing in all reality.
Me saying like, oh, hey me, me.
You know, that makes me think about, Jim, is like we had a discussion once where you talk about like how sometimes you approach your work as like a how a comedian would. Like you practice your bits even. Like you have things and like you like try it out one class and you're like, didn't get quite, the timing wasn't right, and, you know, and you like try and perfect it and then be like, oh, how can I make this funnier? How can I make this land? It's like not only do you like, you know, try to like keep it real and like be involved with your like older materials, but you're like developing new materials and practicing them.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do that. Because if I'm going to relate to like being a band, I also don't want to be the band that is still making new music that no one cares about because they only want a nostalgia band, you know. I want to be the band that people are like, "Ooh, I want to hear the new stuff too," you know. Yeah, and so sometimes I'll come up with an idea and I will develop it over a few classes and be like, you know, and it might be something I think about ahead of time and I'm like, oh, you know, like I had this idea for something and I try it out in class. Sometimes it just happens in the class, in the moment, and then afterwards I'll be like, oh, that was really good, I'm going to do that again. Or I might be like, oh, that was really good, but it didn't quite, like it could have been better and how can I make it better? And then I'll try to like work it into like a more smoothly running, you know, teaching tool. Because the bits they're not just meant to be funny. They're meant to convey something. It's like, it's not just adding a joke to class so people laugh. It's that you add a joke that conveys an idea and then the joke becomes the anchor for that idea. And so when people go back and they're trying to remember what you talked about in class, they think about the joke or the silly prop or the analogy, and that holds all the ideas for them, rather than someone furiously writing down like everything that I'm saying, in which case probably most people are a little bit behind what I'm saying, so not totally present with the information, and then going back and trying to like reading it and recapture it. I always feel like I've succeeded when people are taking notes and then they stop and they're like, oh wait, I don't need to write this all down because that explanation, that framing of the idea, the concept, just made it click with me and it's memorable. And that makes me feel like, ooh, yay. And sometimes I try stuff out and I was like, that did not work. Did not work at all. There's been some, yeah.
Howie
Trademark
Brownstein and Stephen Yeager were brilliant at that.
Oh, they were so
We learned
good.
so many pointless songs in my head right now to remember plants by and stuff like that.
Someone was talking about, you know, like trying to learn botany and not sticking, and I was like, hi, Seven Song. I'll talk about
I'm sure
you
he's watching
later.
this right now. Yeah.
But because you said Seven Song, it's because Mason said Howie.
Yeah.
I also think that you're good.
Shout out Seven Song.
Howie had all these fun little hand gestures
Yeah.
to, you know, with like many pistols kind of thing.
Yeah,
you probably,
yeah.
could you do that like right now?
There's like banner, wings, and keel or something.
Yeah. So he's like, you know, he had me come out and spend a week
Shit,
with
put me
him,
on
and
the spot, yeah.
I sat in on like the same walk with 3 different groups of people, like 3 days in a row,
Yeah.
and it was really cool to like see how that worked. And between the walks,
Totally.
you know, sometimes like Stephen would take the lead and sometimes that Howie would take the lead. And then whoever was like not taking the lead would be like, okay, so what we're doing now is this, that, and the other. So there was a lot of coordination. There was a lot of planning. There was a lot of structure, but it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
It feels like fresh and fun and spontaneous. And, you know, there is a lot of that because every moment is unique, but also there's like, you've been doing something for a long time and you kind of like got it down.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like while you're doing it, you're struggling.
They definitely.
Unlike doing a keynote,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
a little bit different.
You knocked it out of the park, though.
Thank you.
Yeah. You were speaking of like creating new things in your routine or your classes, and I was just kind of curious, what are some new concepts that you're thinking about right now that you're like bringing forward to your teaching?
Let's see. I don't want to wreck it for everyone. I've been really doing this, looking at cholesterol and
Cholesterol?
cholesterol.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So like cholesterol is a big issue, and like conventional medicine, basically LDL cholesterol is your bad cholesterol. And if you're into the Western price diet, they're like, they're just trying to sell you statins and they're all funded by big pharma and LDL cholesterol is amazing and you need cholesterol. And there's truth in both, right? And one of the things we look at is like not just LDL, but what kind of LDL. And one of the many ways we look at what kind of LDL is by how big the particles are. And so I started thinking about like, ping pong balls and BBs. And so after talking about it in class, so this is actually something that students help out. I'll be like, imagine, like large buoyant LDL is not very problematic, and small dense LDL is significantly more problematic. It's more inflammatory. So imagine, like, if you're thinking about the less problematic large buoyant LDL, I would always be like, imagine like if I had a big bucket full of ping pong balls and I threw them at you, would it really hurt a lot? Not so much. Right. And that particular year's students, which I'm so sorry, I love you, but I can't remember the year, they bought a bunch of ping pong balls, like maybe like 150 or 200 ping pong balls, and sent them to my house. Thank you. And I was really remiss because I got them and I was like, oh, I should thank them. And I was like, the best way to thank them would be by doing a video. It took me like a year-ish to get the video done. But then I sent it to them. And I made good. It was a little bit delayed.
Oh, how can we see this video?
Oh, right now it's just it's internally shared. It'll get out there eventually.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. Thing about throwing ping pong balls at people is there's a lot of ping pong balls to clean up. Yeah. They roll, they spread around.
Jim?
Hi.
Hi.
It's like something happened.
Yeah.
Musical chairs.
Musical chairs. What is the weirdest or sketchiest thing you've ever done to learn about herbs?
Oh, to learn about.
I was definitely reining that in a little bit. This is not G-rated, by the way, but
What is the weirdest? I mean, other than just like taking all of them myself. So we want to caveat this with do not do this. Do not do this. But maybe when I was in college and I was walking past a certain botanical garden and I saw like that the Atropa belladonna had beautiful ripe berries on it. I was like, plop, 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 plop. Yeah.
That's a few plops that went in there.
It was more than a couple plops. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, what was going through your mind? You're just like, oh, what a great opportunity to experience.
I was not appropriately humble. And I can't say like, don't do that. Seriously, do not do that.
It's interesting because we had an herbalist who somewhat recently ate poison hemlock. And that was what she said. She said she was not appropriately humbled to properly ID something. She thought it was Queen Anne's lace.
Oh, I knew what it was. I was just like,
but it's just the same language of just like I wasn't humble enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, I'm curious. I can do this. Which is totally true.
So you did live to tell the tale.
Oh, yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
But also, don't do that. Really, don't.
Do you want to share like what happened? Is that? No. Okay.
No, I'm just telling
not
people
to do it.
like just don't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get pretty eyes? Because that's like something that's supposed to happen.
What do you mean?
It's like your pupils get big.
Aren't you looking at me?
Well, I hope the effects have worn off by now. I mean, your eyes are gorgeous. I could stare into them forever.
Yes, it worked.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that would be one thing. I maybe have to think about other things. If something else pops up, I'll interject it.
Okay.
So how about a prompt then? I don't know if this flows nicely with the conversation, but if we said mugwort, never leave home without it.
Oh,
Does
right.
that prompt any stories that you might have?
So I learned from Christopher Headley, who has passed on and is and will always be brilliant. Think about Christopher as like Tom Bombadil. A lot of people said Christopher is like Gandalf. I think Christopher is like Tom Bombadil. The ring would have no power over Christopher. And I learned from him like really early on, and not directly, but like through something that he had written that I found like maybe in my first year-ish of exploring the internet story, exploring the internet for herb stuff. And I think I found Howie Brownstein's site and Howie had the old teleport site. And he had an article, by Christopher about mugwort, and it talked about putting mugwort in your shoes to keep you safe on travels, and so I did that. And then at a certain point, I rarely wear shoes anymore. I mostly have sandals, or I've got some sheepskin boots on, things I don't need to wear socks with very often. And but I didn't have like a soled, but they come out the sides in sandals. And so I just put them under the seats of all the car, and I was like driving home from teaching in Ohio, and I looked down to scratch my leg because I had a mosquito bite, and I looked up, and the car in front of me on the expressway had very suddenly, with no one in front of them, hit the brakes and was stopping. And when I swerved to not hit them, I did hit them. I hit the corner of their car, and my truck went up on two wheels and drove on two wheels sideways for long enough for me to go, and then it slid off of the road because it was probably that long. It was a long time. You think I'm exaggerating. I was not exaggerating.
And were you literally screaming that whole time just
like
that?
I think it was not There was a prolonged fa la 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 la. Yeah, there were other letters. And when your car is sideways like this, everything that's on this side of the car is now on this side of the car. And at the time I had rocks and sticks all over the dashboard and all of that. And so everything, but when the car landed and then slid off the side of the road, the mugwort leaf, which was, actually I think this one was actually underneath the little pad that sits over the tray where all your stuff is in the middle. Which they don't have big enough ones in cars anymore. All the cars I have don't have enough space in the middle to put stuff. To put the shifter down there rather than up here, bad design. But the mugwort leaf that was here was now just sitting on the passenger seat. And I was like, thank you. Yeah. So sometimes people think, oh, Jim's telling one of those silly stories. Sure. No, I totally think that. The mugwort saved my life.
Yeah, I'm so glad. All right, that's an herb that you must love a lot.
I do like mugwort a lot.
Have you ever had an herbal heartbreak, like an herb maybe that you fell in love with that didn't love you back, or maybe something you, fell out of love with? Or tell us about the Jim herbal love story.
I don't think there's some plants that I just don't quite have a connection with. And I don't know that heartbreak is the right word, but I do remember, maybe this goes back to the humility thing, is I was really interested in the wild asters that grow around me. And through wandering through meadows in the early fall and eating a bunch of aster flowers and crushing them up and smelling them, I came across New England aster, Aster novae angliae, or Symphyiotrichum novae angliae, after they split them up into quote-unquote old world asters and quote-unquote new world asters. They just made the genus name longer and way harder to spell out loud.
Damn botanists.
Right. You just got the two Y's in there.
Yikes.
Right, yeah, Symphyiotrichum. Aster was always easy. Symphyiotrichum is not easy. Everyone always asks how to spell that. And then I discovered that herb is really just incredible for respiratory tension. I use it a lot for asthma, and it's become one of the most important respiratory herbs that I use. And then I felt a little bit, very proud of myself. Oh, I'm good at figuring out herbs that people don't use. And the next thing I tried to figure out, because I'm going to figure out another herb, was Virginia creeper. Yeah. And it is the fall gathered stems that were used in eclectic medicine as an alternative with relaxant qualities, and it is certainly acrid. So I made tincture of the fresh twigs and tincture of the dried twigs, and I made tea with the dried twigs, and I took it for months, and after months I was I got nothing. So not really a heartbreak, but maybe a reality check of and it is harder, if something is aromatic, it just starts doing stuff to you immediately when you start taking it. And if something is more of an alterative type herb that is something that requires regular and ongoing use, that means that the changes that it produces are a lot more subtle in nature. So yeah, I did not have a profound understanding of that plant. But I didn't know any of the plants have really like, a couple of years ago, I got like on my arm, I was like, why is my arm itchy? And then it got kind of rashy and I was like, did I get into poison ivy and not know it? Which I would feel sad that I didn't realize I had gotten into poison ivy. It meant that I wasn't paying attention. And I'm pretty fixated on poison ivy. I'm always paying attention to it. And then when it got like hot and blistery, I was like, oh no, this is like an APACE ferrocoumarin kind of like sun sensitization burn. And I'm like, where did I get into that? Like, what plant was it? Where did I get into it? And I don't know. To this day, I'm like, was I around any wild parsnip? No, not that I can recall. I was around some cow parsnip, but I was it's hard not to notice. I was super mindful about it. I don't know what it was. So I feel sad that I got into something toxic and didn't see it or recognize it.
Yeah, I love how you love poison ivy for that and the awareness it brings you.
We're doing an interview in the midst of poison ivy right now.
Yeah, there's some poison ivy right here.
There was a chair rearrangement at some point.
And some Virginia creeper right through here. It's like
I don't know if you had follow-ups to that, but I kind of wanted to circle back to a previous discussion, if that's cool. We were talking about like herbalism and careers and stuff like that, and I wanted to make sure we got this question in. So Rosalee and I were both curious. If you were not an herbalist, what profession would you have considered?
Well, before I suddenly had the plants like yank me into their world and say like, we think you should do this. We talked about virtues, like herbs have virtues, and that's a better word than saying like, what are this herb's uses? Right. Uses is like what can I use something for. Virtues is like qualities that something has.
And just to interrupt, can you give the example you did in your keynote when you were talking about like people and like their uses?
Oh, right. You're like, Rosalee, is Mason good for anything? How can I use Mason? Can I use Mason for anything?
Yeah.
Right. I want to say it's really hard not to say use it all. Right.
Very difficult, I've noticed.
It's incredibly hard. Because then it gets to be like, you're just being impractical.
Yeah.
It's a little bit performative. We just want to have virtues in the mix so we understand how things are framed.
Yeah.
Plants, I think, sometimes see humans, and I think that the plants are like, I wonder if I can use him to spread the word about herbalism and plants and love of nature. So I think that happened to me. But prior to that happening, before plants took over my life, I was, I played music. I was a musician. Not a professional musician, but I was a musician. And that's what I wanted to do.
That's so cool.
I worked in radio stations, spent too much time in bars for radio stations. I worked in small recording studios, and I was like, oh, these people that I'm meeting in this realm are not as nice as the plant people that I'm meeting. And so that really helped to shift me out of it. But I did want to, play music. That was what I wanted to do. And sometimes I think that there could be like a movie in which musician me somehow discovers that future me is going to talk to people about hemorrhoids and about bowel movements and their stool, and then do everything that past me will do everything that he can to stop this from happening so that he can be the prog rock musician that of course I am supposed to be.
Are you still playing at all?
Yeah, I don't play enough.
Okay.
I always want to play more, but I played the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Was it electric guitar or?
It was an electric guitar, but it was not plugged in because
Okay.
the amp is in the basement. And
It was very impressive.
Quite
though.
large.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, his fingers move very fast. I don't know a lot about
That's
this,
so
but
cool.
yeah, it was very impressive.
Can you drum at all?
the percussion, like hand drum stuff, I've
Okay.
always sucked at a kit because like once you add the feed in,
Oh yeah.
because
That
like
sounds-
I have a fairly good sense of timing, and yet I find it impossible. Like I can't play the guitar and tap my foot like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because I like prog rock, so that's the way I'd have to count it.
Right.
But I can't even do 4/4 time and tap my foot. Like I've just never been able to do that. I've also never been able to like sing and play at the same time, which I think is like a super skill when people can do that.
Yeah.
It's like if you have a guitar and you can sing songs that people like.
That's impressive.
This is impressive.
Yeah.
You can always like bring joy to somebody,
Yeah.
right? In some way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of prog rock, which you love,
I do love that.
which includes Tori Amos, who, by the way, plays 2 pianos and sings at the same time. I just point that out. But I'm wondering what some early bands or influences were for you with prog rock, and the bonus question with that is like, is there one prog rock song you would recommend people listen to get into?
One is hard. So I think when I was in like high school, you know, and like devouring music and playing music, the rock that I got into was just like 80s rock, you know. Nowadays we would say like the hair bands, but it was like 70s and 80s stuff. So there was Led Zeppelin, there was Rush, there was Van Halen, there was like Whitesnake. I was a huge Dokken fan at the time. We bond, yeah, we bond on that.
Yeah,
We're
Rosalee
both
singing on the podcast.
we're both big Dokken fans. And then I got a cassette tape copy that had Kansas's Left Overture on one side and Point of No Return, KNOW, Return, on the other side, which are like 2 just amazing Kansas albums. They're perfection. And I would play one album all the way through and flip over and play the other album all the way through, and then it would just kind of spin around with that. And although some people might be like, isn't Kansas just a classic rock band? If you listen to their albums, they are a heavy-duty prog band. And those are still, I think, absolute musical perfection. And so I would recommend people into that. Although I can go in a bunch of different directions if I know what other music someone listens to.
Well, Tori does cover Kansas, so
Tori does cover Kansas.
yeah, so I agree with that one.
She does Dust in the Wind. And it was when I saw that she did Dust in the Wind and I shared it on a Kansas group that the facilitator of that group was like, I know her.
Oh, yeah.
She used to borrow my Led Zeppelin albums. That's my connection. It's actually pretty tenuous, but you know.
We'll still call it a 1 degree though.
Yeah, it's just a 1 degree. I'm also 1 degree of separation with Dr. Bach, the flower essence doctor.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, do tell.
I was in an antique store. Stephanie and I were looking for a gift for my mom, and I think about what does my mom need, and it just seems like she doesn't need anything. She's got all the stuff, and she can get all this stuff. But Stephanie has a unique tact for being like, oh, your mom would love this kind of like knick-knacky thing. And she's in an antique store, and she found something, and while she was finding something for my mom, because she's awesome, I found cool little medicine bottles. And I was buying them, and there was a, let's just say, older woman than I am. I'm the older part. And she saw the bottle, and she turned around to the other older woman than I am, who's working in the antique store, and she says, oh, this reminds me of when I lived in London and filled bottles for Dr. Bach. And I was like, excuse me? She like looked at me, and I was like, did you say Dr. Bach? Like, flower essence Dr. Bach? And she says, oh, do you know who he is? And I was like, yeah. And I said, can we hang out? And she was like, it was busy. It was kind of around the holidays, so I had to go on. I went back a few times looking for her. She's probably like, oh, that man is coming in again. He's just too young for me. Hid in the room. I don't know for sure.
I don't
tried.
know why I thought you were going to say you're related, but
No.
that was the degree. Gotcha.
No.
Okay.
No, just 1 person degree.
We're going to shift major gears now.
Major gears.
So
I don't know much about gears.
Me neither.
a few years ago now, you almost died.
That did happen.
Yeah. What are some takeaways from that experience?
It sucked. It sucked. Mostly it sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
No, a friend of mine who's a dear friend. I saw them. I hadn't seen them in a long time, and they're like, "Oh, did that experience like create more gratitude. And, I've had a daily practice of gratitude for a very long time before that. The answer is no, it didn't. I don't feel grateful about it. It just fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Swear.
That's allowed on
Sorry
Herbalists
if that
After
bothers
Hours.
you, but it's probably the most accurate way to say it. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah. I know the help you received afterwards is something you were very grateful for.
Yeah, there's no way to express like how much the support for my family and the care that my family got means to me. Like it's like it's just not possible to like express that enough.
I feel like, one of the things, when I introduced you for the keynote, one of the things I said is you show me how to be a better human. And
It's by listening to prog rock.
which includes story.
It does.
One thing that, like, when you've lived your values just by showing the world is like when there's an herbalist in need, when there's a GoFundMe, you are always there front and center, encouraging people to share. If you know the person, if you don't know the person.
It doesn't matter whether I know the person. Like I made a personal rule for myself that if there's not some kind of like plant connection, I can't just go share every GoFundMe that someone hears about, because that would be the only thing I was doing. But I think, and it is absolutely possible that I missed something. Actually, I know that there was one thing that I tried to save and then I went looking for it and it was gone and I couldn't find it. But every time there's been like a plant person who had a situation that needed help, I have not only like shared, and often more than once, that fundraiser, but I've also donated to it. And I got 2 years ago, like GoFundMe sent me something. I was in like their 5% of like top donors. That was not in amount. That was just in how many things that I had donated to.
That's cool.
And maybe I would say that if anyone thinks back about that experience and is like, wow, it was amazing how people came together, to support Jim's family, do that for everyone else too. Like, it feels weird to have received that and then see people who don't receive it. And I know there's no way it can all be like everything can be equal. It's not realistic. But for me, it just seems like it's really important. And I think that a lot of times people see those things and they think like, oh, I don't really have a lot to offer. Offer what you can. Like, no offering of support is unimportant. No offering of care is not powerful. So like lots of small donations add up to a whole lot. Something that I did and have done actually more than once is gone to that thing and I have scrolled through at least 3 times all of the people, like every single donation. And while
On your own.
on my own, yeah, not all of them for everyone. And while yes, there were some donations that were like larger donations, of like really by people who were able to, or organizations who were able to. I want to name people, but then I don't want to name people because I would
Totally.
leave someone out, right?
Understandable.
Most of it though was small donations.
We're talking
small-
25, 50 bucks.
Anywhere between $5 and like $50.
Amazing,
That was the
yeah.
majority of it.
That's so cool.
And I think that, like, I wish we had a healthcare system that didn't require people to like crowdsource healthcare, because that's messed up. But being that that's a system we have, like when we see, I'm just gonna say like one of our own, meaning like someone who has devoted their lives or portion of their life to plants and their medicine and sharing that and offering that in some way. We often do that at the expense of like real jobs that have benefits, real jobs that like provide, something. And a lot of us we don't make enough money to be able to afford the ridiculous cost of healthcare.
Yeah.
And so we have to do the best we can, and that is helping each other. And so like, the biggest thing that I can do to sort of like give back and you know, like honor the care that was given to me is to offer care to other people. And sometimes that care is just donations because, you know, in our country, getting sick or having something happen to you is just really expensive.
Yeah. It's been inspiring to see you live through that and just carry on that, you know, generosity to others. So thank you.
Yeah. It would be weird not to.
I don't know that everybody would the way that you do, honestly. So
It's still so relatable, though, you know.
Kindness.
Kindness, yeah.
I guess we could shift gears a little bit. I'm curious, before this experience, after this experience, have you always had this practice of thinking about problems or issues that arise in your life? Like, when Rosalee told me that you do that while she was preparing your intro to the keynote, I was like, that is so simple and so profound. Like, I love that. I want to start incorporating that into my life. Spending, you know, I would actually not just like to hear about your practice, but like how it looks. Like, what do you do? Like, do you actually block out time per day? Is it random?
No, it's
Okay,
really
it's not.
random.
You're not that
No,
choleric.
I mean, I could be driving somewhere,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, I need to, and I talked about this in the keynote, like wonder is really big for me.
Yeah, like
there's
that segment.
there's a state of awe wonder, which is awesome when you get to experience awe. That's why it's the word awesome. But also there's the inquiry wonder, and I like that path of open-ended inquiry where I'm trying to, like, I want to learn, but I'm not learning with an end goal of like, I want to learn this so that then I know it. And then I know that I know this thing. And I'm not saying that never happens, because it does. But mostly it's like, I want to wonder about something and think about it in creative ways. And like, you know, to think about, like, this is like, rather than being like, oh, it's a cone from a conifer. What kind of conifer is it? I want to just, like, once I know what kind of conifer it is, I'm like, I know that this cone is that kind of conifer, and then I'm done. I want it to be like, ooh, look at all, like, I can look at it like this, and like,
Seems very
that.
childlike.
Yeah, I can kind of like play around with it, and how flexible is it, and see like what's inside of it. Is there anything still going to come out of here? And feel it, and smell it, and like, just like, and then I put it down, not because I'm done with
Wondering.
the exploration of like trying to understand it. I'm just like, I'm out of time or something. And then I can come back and be like, ooh, now I thought about it and I've had time to think about thinking about it, and I can come back to it and be like, and that helps me come up with, I think, like, unique insights into something, because we all have this unique creative process, right? Everyone has a unique creative process that brings something new and something special to understanding. And I think about it, and then if I have, which doesn't always happen, but kind of like an aha about it, you know, and maybe it's about the cone, and maybe it's about something I thought about while I was thinking about the cone. I have an aha, then I can apply that to my life and hopefully change my life in some way that makes my life better or richer or fuller or more interesting or more funny. And then sometimes, if it is a relatable thing that I think might be helpful to other people, I can figure out a way to like work that into classes. Because when I do, I mean, I started off, all my classes were like 6 or 7 hours long. And I did that for years and years. And I mean, I did that for a ridiculous number of years before it occurred to me to be like, I wonder if I could do a class that was only like 2.5 or 3 hours long. I'm talking like a decade or more. Yeah, that's been the new thing. There's, you know, all of the course classes are in that 7-hour range, and then like if I do herb walks, they're usually in the 2.5, 3 hour range. But I have like plenty of time to talk about the plants and what their virtues are. But I usually also have like other ideas that I'm like, I'm going to throw these ideas into the class, and I will apply them to the way that I'm talking about herbs, but they're ideas that apply to more than just herbs, you know? And so gentle does not mean weak. That is an idea that's important if we're understanding herbs. But it is also important to think about our relationship to people, or our relationship to the action and the way that we're going to interact with the world around us. Gentleness is not, like, being more forceful is not stronger. being more gentle is not weaker, because then we think stronger is more effective, weaker is less effective. I should be stronger, that means I need to be more forceful. And we kind of have a overabundance of forceful interaction with the world and with situations, and not enough reverence for gentleness. Not just appreciation, but like reverence for gentleness. And so when I'm putting that into a class, it is not just in relation to contrasting, cleavers of the lymphatic herb that's more gentle and poke is a lymphatic herb that's more forceful. It's that concept can fit into more aspects of your life. Or the idea of in classes I often talk about how in the dominant culture, so not in your individual cultures, but in the dominant Western culture, we're often taught to think very dualistically, this thing or that thing, and even gradations on a spectrum that is still often seems as shades of gray. Things aren't black and white, they're shades of gray. And I'm like, what about all the colors around us? Not to mention the textures, and the changeability or iridescence in the world, and we interact with the world. If we think, if our thinking processes are confined to a dualistic way of interacting with the world, we can never interact with the world effectively, because although nature includes dualities, it is not limited to dualities. That's just one thing in a whole bunch of other things. They exist, they're there, but there's also other stuff. So that is an idea that I can think about, when people are learning about an herb, maybe they're learning about wood betony, Botanica officinalis. Botanica officinalis. Not a Steakies anymore. Back to Botanica.
Oh, bummer. I used Steakies last night, remember?
I feel good about that.
Dang
It's
it.
Botanica.
All right. Nicely done, Jim. Lowercase.
I think about Botanica as being a cooling herb. And I can go back and look in culpepper, I think, says it's a warming herb. How can it be cooling and warming? Am I wrong because culpepper is cooler than I am?
Probably.
Little,
Just kidding.
Culpepper, just a smidge. Culpepper did so many cool things that I'm not taking away, but slightly arrogant. Just a little bit. Even when you read his stuff, it's no one with any sense would deny that it is this way. Just wow. It's not, it's just different perspectives on it, And things are not one thing or the other. They can be both and, or even outside of that, or, yeah. So when we can sort of not think with binaries, we can apply that to understanding herbalism, but we can also think about that in our life. That if I think something and you think something and those two things seem to contradict, and I think I'm right and you think you're right, does that mean that you think that I'm wrong? And that I need to show you that you're wrong to prove that I'm right? Because that seems to be a thing that is all over the world, and the way that people interact with each other, that is not helpful. Yeah. It doesn't really help get us anywhere. It kind of reinforces conflict.
I don't know if this relates to your keynote, but I really appreciated when you said, when you're in a state of wonder, you could just be like, I wonder why that person thinks that, instead of...
That is my best self doing that.
That was a good one.
My best self is when I see someone who thinks something that I am like, no. It's
the highest, Jim.
Because there's a lot of things I do not want to paint that I am not have my thoughts and my judgments. In my best self is I wonder why they think that. And sometimes for some of the really terrible things that people think, pick your ism. I think it's because people are injured. People have an injury. And if you think about the way that animals respond when they're hurt, they're defensive and they can be aggressive because they're hurt, So there might be some kind of hurt that's there that is driving that action. There probably is. And then that allows me to have some compassion that hopefully can allow me to interact with a person or a situation that I find to be really challenging to my core beliefs with some kindness, without needing to have that, what I think is kindness, be placating or letting someone skate on an issue that's really not okay. At least as I see it.
Yeah, that was a good question.
That was a good one.
Yeah, good job. Yeah.
Well, it's 4:06 and you have a plant walk, I think, at 4:45,
Yeah.
so we still got some time, right?
We still have some time.
All right.
I have to walk over there a little bit.
Okay, so all right,
60-second walk. All right, we're golden. Okay.
So earlier this year, we lost our friend John Gallagher, and Mason and I have been thinking of like how can we honor him and honor his memory, and also just remember him, you know. And
Actually, do you want to tell them the Herbalists After Hours is not
tell it?
exactly inspired by John? No, you tell it better than I do.
Well, Jim was there too.
I told John that he should do Herb Mentor After Hours.
Oh, no
Well,
shit.
no, it was Herb Mentor After Midnight was the thing. Herb Mentor After Midnight. It was going to be a little bit more illicit. I think it was After Midnight.
Okay.
I'd put money on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
See how we go back to like someone's feeling the need to be right?
Well, John at least talked about doing Herb Mentor After Midnight. That's what he said, and he would have loved this. Yeah, he would have really loved this. And yeah, so Mason and I were wondering if you'd be willing to share a favorite John story.
I think it's two things. One is when we did that promo video and I let go of the balloon and it spun all around the room and then it landed right back to me. And very spontaneously said, "It's a balloonerang," which I've never said that word before in my life.
That's good.
It was great hilarity. And two was,
What was John's reaction to that?
oh, we were just both laughing.
Good
Yeah,
chuckle.
it's caught on film. We can, we can
Yeah,
watch
it'd be cool
that,
to find that.
that old promo. And then the other one was just how much he wanted to go to that taqueria. And I do not do well with cumin, and cumin I just kind of, not my thing. It's a fine plant. I got nothing against it. I just don't want to eat it. And I don't do well with like most legumes, so like beanie stuff. And so like going to a taqueria is like,
Or cilantro.
that's the kind of stuff that might make my gut hurt for hours after I eat it. And John was like so sad because he wanted to go to the
He loved that place.
He wanted to go there so badly and he wanted to share it. And then, he was like, okay, like with some reticence. And then after we were done filming, because I kind of pitched it as like, I can't be teaching when I feel terrible in my gut. He literally said, now we're done teaching, we can go to the taqueria. And I was like, I don't want my gut to hurt whether I'm teaching or not teaching. I just don't want my gut to hurt. But his joy over that taqueria. Yeah.
Did you succumb? And
I did not, no.
okay.
No, and just to like set that up, we were filming something with you, and I think it was 2 full days in the studio.
It was 2 full days.
Yeah, and I would think I was behind the camera, and maybe just you were up front or something. And Jim, what happens when I'm with Jim is he wants me to stay up all night and all day, and I'm like, you get one or the other, dude. Like, there's not like I can't do both. But I remember being so tired because we'd stayed up so late that night, and you were like looking to me to like, I was the sole audience.
You were the sole audience.
I'm all like,
Yeah.
trying to stay awake, not because you aren't brilliant. I think you're brilliant, but that was a bit of a rough go of that. Yeah. One of my favorite memories, I think, is from that weekend. Is we went kayaking that weekend.
We did go kayaking.
Yeah, I have some fun pictures of that. Like you're all, I was in Port Townsend, and pictures of Jim being like all wrapped up in seaweed. Bull kelp that he got.
I was trying to spin it around.
Yeah, the pictures of that were really pretty. It was just like the blue sky and the blue ocean and everything. It
We
was
saw
beautiful.
seals.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Oh, thanks for sharing that.
All right, so sticking in story realm, during your keynote, you talked about this herbal brewing story. I loved your whole keynote, by the way, but that
Thank
one
you.
had me in stitches. It was so funny, and I was just hoping we could capture it here on the interview. So why don't you tell us about the herbal beer story?
So one thing that can happen, if you're an herbalist, and if hopefully enough of the time you do a good job teaching, people really enjoy your classes. Be like, oh, that person does good classes. If you think that, thank you, I try. But that does not mean that there are not disaster classes. And I started making different kinds of weird herbal beers at a certain point. And I'm really a cider guy, but I was just wanting to, do fun. I wanted to make stuff out of plants, right? That's what I do. So I was making some beers and trying that out. And someone at a place I taught all the time was like, oh my gosh, you need to do an herbal beer class here at the center. And I was like, I don't, it's not really what I want to teach. I'm just doing it. It's interesting to me. There's like a really long period of time where you're just boiling something. And like, I didn't know how that would really work as a class. And they're like, oh no, please, 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 please. So I succumbed, I relented. And I did the class, and it was like a few hours long. And during the boiling stage, rather than teaching anything, we just sat around and drank beers that I made. You know, there's chamomile beer and wood betony beer and yarrow beer.
That's a cool class.
Seriously.
Lemon balm beer. So that was, you know, fun. And there were these two guys that came from, let's just say a town. I'm going to anonymize a town.
A town not in the Midwest.
Yeah.
According to you.
We can't explain that right now. Okay. A town, let's say, you know, 2.5-ish hours away from me, where someone I know lives. And they said, oh, this class was so great. Would you come to where we live, you know, and teach the class? And I thought, like, oh, maybe we can go there, teach the class, and that would pay for me to see the person that I know that lives there, and it'd be really great. And it took a couple years to actually get happening. And by the time it was happening, the two guys who were in the class, like, didn't work at the place anymore, that was, you know, setting everything up. And then I had a new contact, and then when it got to be like the week of the class, my new contact, I couldn't get a hold of them, and so I drove out to the place, and there was no hot plate for the class that was supposed to be there, and there was no stock pot for the class that was supposed to be there. So instead of like seeing my friend, I'm like at store looking for stores that have a stock pot and a hot plate and everything, feeling a little bit grumpy. At the time I didn't have, you know, much money to have afforded the extra expenses. And I get to the room, and it's the room you could have a sizable wedding reception in. And there's like 80 chairs set up and a table and a podium far away from that. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. What in the world? So I go find the janitor, and I get an extension cord, and I move everything up close. And I'm like, okay, it's cool. This is up close. I'm not going to stand like, you know, 15 feet away from everyone. That's weird. And I'm not going to bother putting all the chairs away, right? Because you know, people can, it's a lot of chairs. I'm not going to do that.
So at no point during this process, you're not even considering the fact that it could be a massive class?
And then people started coming in, and more people started coming in, and more people started coming in. And a dear friend of mine had come because they live in that town. It wasn't the person I was specifically visiting, but they came to the class. And they were like, oh, that's so-and-so of this fairly large micro brew, you know, company.
Borderline macro brewery.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's so-and-so from this other, you know, brewing company, and that's so-and-so from this other brewing company. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? Because I had like 7 bottles of beer to pass around, you know, and can you pass beer around in a library? I didn't ask. And, you know, like a couple dozen, you know, Dixie cups. And I'm like, shit, what is going on? And later on, I saw the flyer which said I was like a master herbal brewer.
Oh, no.
Right? And it had been promoted as if that's what it was for. And so all of these people from this, you know, micro industry were coming there. And when they realized that I was not what they were looking for, their response was not, oh, okay, this is just for like people to do in their kitchen, you know, to screw around and make beer and have fun and see what happens. They did not do that. They were like, yeah, we're just going to go brutal on this dude. And they're asking me questions about sterilization. Like, what do you do to sterilize all your equipment? I'm like, I pour sage tea in while it's already boiling and bubbling, and I pour it right into the carboy, and I swish it around, and then I pour it out, and I figure that is my nothing's going to survive that. There's the boiling water, and there's the antimicrobial volatile oils from the sage. So I think when I said that, and the response was maybe like, like it started off like he said what?
Yeah.
And then they went from there to like, yeah, we're just going to go in on him. And the entire class, they just grilled me specific gravity,
Poor
this,
Jim.
that, the other.
Did you get paid a lot though?
No, not at all. Not at all.
That's brutal.
You know, and like
Oh my gosh.
having the brutal response is something, but also like when you're teaching a class and you're looking around and you're kind of like scanning the audience. So ideally what you're doing is you're saying things and you're like looking to see whether they land, whether people are going like, oh yes, that I get that, and nodding their heads, or whether they're scrunching up their foreheads or shaking their heads or looking confused. And I'm looking at people who are mostly like, and you could see them leaning to each other and being like, what a moron. Oh my God. That's what I'm going to do. And then they'd be like, yeah, it was really hard. My friend took me out to dinner afterwards.
Yeah,
I was like, oh. Yeah, it was tough. I've never taught that class again. Nobody could talk me into teaching that class again.
Oh, I bet the first manifestation of it, though, if you're like sitting around, chatting beer and drinking beer, was probably a great class.
Yeah, it was fun.
See, I would love that. The Great Lakes Herb Fair, if you capped it at like 10 people and you had to sign up early, that'd be super fun. Yeah, so we can go.
That's right. I think you could do that class.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I've done a couple beers, a couple meads.
See,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're on par with as good as I was. You're all set to teach
I'm a
for
master
all
brewer
the
now.
microbreweries
That's terrifying.
in Oregon.
That was terrifying. So thank you for sharing it. Made your keynote though, so it had some value. Yeah, we all got a good laugh at it at least. So
Yeah, everyone has bad classes.
well, we've never done a rap. This is our first episode, so we don't know how we're gonna do this. So we're just gonna roll with it here.
All right,
You wanna-
rapid fire questions?
Yeah.
Are you gonna do like high pitched voices?
Probably not.
You could do high pitch answers though.
You didn't say rapid answer.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea.
yeah.
Maybe each one, under 2 hours long or something.
Can do that. Prog rock answers.
What's your favorite tea and snack?
So good. Good job.
My favorite tea is whichever one I'm drinking right now. I can't pick one. Some favorites. I love Spice Bush leaf and twig tea. Ugh. I
Is that
love.
Lindera?
Yeah, it is
Sweet,
Lindera.
all right.
I love Labrador tea, or I'm going to see if I can get the Anishinaabe name, Muskegobag.
Okay.
I think that's pretty close.
What we really want to know is your snack, though.
My
Your
snack.
favorite snack.
I'm not like I don't have like this is the thing that I snack on, because like the other day I got some smoked salmon. I don't know if that counts as like a snack.
Totally. Yeah, that's delish.
But
yeah.
it doesn't compare because I remember when I went out to that mountain roast thing.
Oh, yeah.
And we went out and did some stuff. You had smoked salmon that was like Pacific Northwest smoked salmon,
Yeah.
and that was
Primo.
amazing. What I had and have access to here is not that.
Yeah, it's different.
But smoked salmon, if I had to think of like what kind of carby thing would I eat? I mean, occasionally I might eat some like potato chips or like black pepper potato chips.
Okay.
Or going back to the old like nostalgic food co-op day, like bulk food bin kind of thing, like sesame sticks.
You did get those the
I
other
did
day.
get some
Yeah,
sesame
yeah.
sticks.
All
Yeah.
right.
They last me a long time. I wouldn't eat like a lot of sesame
Sure.
sticks at a time.
A little bit of a guilty pleasure or something. Yeah, sure.
Ooh, kale chips. Love kale chips. I could eat a lot of those at a time.
Classic.
But there's so much
Xavier makes amazing kale
There's
chips.
so much
cool.
effort to make, and then they dry down to so little, and I eat them so fast that I don't keep up with them.
What's the first and last concert you went to?
The first concert was Monsters of Rock, and it was
Oh, it was like a lineup of different bands?
Kingdom Come.
Yeah, okay.
Does that have Jason Bonham in it at the time? Maybe. Metallica, right before they released And Justice for All. Dokken, Van Halen, and the Scorpions.
No way. That's an epic first concert.
So
Mine was
Yep.
Weird Al, so yeah.
I saw
Got me
that was
beat.
the first one. And the last show that I went to was Haken. I believe it was Haken.
Okay.
Yep.
Prague.
Prog rock band from the UK. Their best albums are The Mountain. That one's a masterwork. And then the following EP, which is called Restoration. Perfection. Both of those together. Really, they kind of fit together.
What do you prefer most? Narrow or longleaf plantain or broadleaf plantain?
Which broadleaf plantain?
I called it.
You did.
Oh, I called it. Well, so Plantago lanceolata or Plantago major,
Or?
Plantago rugelii.
Yeah, Regalia.
I thought
That
he was
works.
going to choose rugelii. Yeah.
All of them. Like, I don't have a preference between those. Occasionally I hear someone say, like, oh, this one works. I actually just recently heard someone say, narrowleaf plantain has more medicinal constituents than broadleaf plantain. And I was like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like sometimes one is juicier than the other one. And so if you're doing a crushed poultice rather than a spit poultice, and there's a reason to do that, right? Spit poultices are always going to work a little bit better. But if it's like the plantain is growing by like the trail sign, by the park that people are always taking their dogs out to, and you grab some leaves after you get back from your hike and you're all chewed up and you start chewing it, and you're like, this is like a little bit saltier and maybe slightly more acidic than it usually is. That might have been one to crush up
the crush,
rather
yeah.
than chew up. But I would use any and all three of them together.
Okay.
When I make medicine out of them, I'll just mix all three of them up.
Okay.
Plantago sp.
Yeah.
Or as Lottie would say, sp, 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 sp. Plantago sp.
That's what I say to my cat. That's a gym-specific rapid-fire question, by the way. We're going to switch these up every now and then. But which book changed your life the most? Or one of the books that highly influenced you?
Can I just say the work of Tolkien?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I had to
Absolutely.
say that.
Amen.
What's your favorite movie? It can be Lord of the Rings. I'm okay with that.
That also
That's for pop Tolkien
that's,
people.
That's really that's a very hard one. So I'm going to do the thing where I give more than one answer.
Okay, you're allowed.
So how about Being John Malkovich?
Ooh, that's a great
That's
flick.
a great movie.
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2, specifically Evil Dead 2.
Did not see that coming.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Is that like the Army of Darkness stuff, or is
It
that
was
something different?
the one before that.
Oh, gotcha.
It's the most perfect one.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
then, how about Before Sunrise with Ethan Hawke and Judi Delpy? Love that movie. Actually, the whole Before trilogy is
They
amazing.
just talk a lot.
They do. It's just a talking movie. Yeah.
What do you mean, like lots of dialogue and stuff?
It's all dialogue.
Oh,
It's
cool.
it's two people walking around talking the entire time. Ooh, and My Dinner with Andre, which is also all talking. Oh, My Dinner with Andre, perfection.
Yeah, I forgot you like those movies, and now whenever you suggest a movie, Xavier always says but he likes talking movies. Like that you have been like blacklisted from ever giving us advice on movies because you like those
Everything,
movies.
Everywhere, All at Once.
That's a good one.
That's a great movie.
That's one we can agree on.
Yes.
Do you like Tarantino? Because I feel like he has great dialogue in his movies. Or is it differ too much?
It doesn't quite, like, there's an aspect of it that doesn't quite land with me.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Like, I know that, like, there's a lot of fight scenes in all the Tarantino movies, but I like, the fight scene. Like, I recommended Everything Everywhere All at Once is like a must-see movie to a friend of mine who has a family, and so they watched it all together. And the next time I talked to them, they said, "You did not tell us that there are prolonged fight scenes that involve butt plugs." So if you're gonna take
Oh, I gotta see
the
this
recommendation,
movie. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't
if
seen
you're
it
gonna
yet.
take the
It's been on the list.
recommendation,
Been on the list.
please know that if you're gonna watch it with your sensitive ones.
Good call.
You've been warned.
So you teach a 4-season.
Hold on, Wrath of Khan,
Wrath
Oh,
of
man.
Khan?
Star Trek, Wrath of Khan.
Okay.
Yeah,
Upline.
We're done with the movies.
maybe.
All right, well, you've got a 4-season course, and we were wondering like what it's like to bring students like through the seasons, through the plants, through. I know it's not just about plants. It's as Lottie today described, herbal med school is what she said. I can see you might not like that, but I'm just wondering what you're like. We were wondering what are your favorite things about teaching a 4-season course like that, both in person and you also have online.
Yeah. So the best thing about a long course is each year's group of students. Without a doubt, each year's group of students. That's because that's the thing that makes it come alive in different ways, and not just like something I'm, press play. Sorry, this is going to be dated for some of you. Press play, play tape, rewind, press play tape, rewind, press play tape, rewind. That would get old and boring and stale. And when you have a course and there's a group of people coming back class after class after class after class, they develop a rapport and seeing like friendships develop. I can be at this event and see people who are still friends
I love that.
because they met in the course, and it might be a decade or more later.
Oh, I love that.
And that is
I've met people like that.
yeah, that is just super amazing to me, and I feel really good about that. So that is the big thing. And then also like all the plants that we talk about are my friends, and I get to like introduce people, and like seeing people like get turned on and come alive with sort of like the love of plants and the love of herbalism, and sort of like there was this thing that has been inside of them waiting, and then the spark hits it and it ignites, and it's like, I love plant. I'm a plant person, and like seeing that happen is just so cool. And then also just like when you're teaching and you see someone get a concept or they get an idea. Like I distinctly remember one time, and it was maybe like 2/3 of the way through the class or the course, and someone says like, oh, like someone in my house has this head cold thing going on, and it's like kind of like stuffy, but it's also leaky and drippy. And so I know I need something that's both aromatic and astringent. These are the ones that are growing in my yard. Which one do you think would fit best? And I was like, oh,
It's a quality question.
that is, yeah, that is a quality, like, it's a quality question because
It's an advanced question. It's not what herb is good for a cold.
I don't know how to break things up into a beginner, intermediate, advanced. Like, I can't think like that. But it was a really well proposed question because it showed understanding. And I think, like, with the course that I do, one of the things that I try to do is, it's not a course filled with information that you learn and then you know. It's a course filled with ideas and concepts that you can, like, that stimulate inquiry and stimulate, wondering and stimulate growth that you can keep thinking about, hopefully for the rest of your life. Like, I would hate to have a course that people go through and they get to the end of it and like, okay, cool, I got all that. I got all that.
Yeah.
What do I do next? Because I understand all of that. And sometimes when I see, like, the way that herbal learning is presented, and no one in particular, just sometimes, there's an idea of, like, you'll go through a course, and at the end of it, you will know all the things in the course. And I'm like, I don't know how that happens. Like, I don't know how to do that. I'm sure that other people do it and they do it well, but it's not something that I know how to do, and so therefore that's not what I do. I do, like, here are ideas that you can keep wondering and growing into, forever, or as long as we're around.
Why don't you tell us about some of your other offerings? Because you somewhat recently came out with, like, online classes.
Yep.
You got a bunch of plant walks.
So we have some a la carte online classes,
Yeah.
and we have the online Lindera course. And some of the a la carte classes, like, overlap with the course. And if you had the online a la carte class and you take the course, we'll give you credit for that. So that's kind of cool. And it's a way to, like, sort of try it out before you commit to it. And I think it's really important, if you're going to commit to, like, a longer term course of study, that you feel very confident that the way that the person who's offering the education is offering it in a way that fits with the way that you learn, because it's, what a bummer to, like, invest in a course and time, not just money, but, like, time and energy, and be like, oh, this isn't really quite, this guy's, like, way too rambly. He thinks he's way funnier than he is. He keeps referring to things that I think happened in the 80s and I wasn't even alive then. And, what the hell is a wookalar? So, I mean, if silliness and nonsense, doesn't work for you, then I'm not your teacher. There's someone else who'd be great for you, who I could tell you about if you ask. And the in-person courses, I do lots of herb walks, not just in Michigan and different places in Michigan, but kind of all over when I can. And then I get asked to teach, weekends in different places, and go and teach for a weekend and different topics. And then I have the Lindera course, which is, like, the longer term course that covers energetic folk herbalism here, because I am a folk herbalist at heart. And that runs, it's not really quite 4 seasons. There's no dead of winter classes in the course, but that runs from, like, March, April into October.
Okay.
Yeah.
So herbcraft.org and herbcraft.podia.com.
Yep.
And we'll leave links in the podcast show notes, etc. Also, I know we kind of brought up the Great Lakes Herb Fair earlier, but I just wanted to say shout out and thank you to the Great Lakes Herb Fair for hosting us. You can learn more and register. It's each, I want to say, the second weekend in September every year.
It's the weekend after Labor Day.
That's better well put. So greatlatesherfair.org. Fabulous event. This is my 3rd year in a row. I know you're going to be somewhat of a fixture here at this point. And
Yeah, commit to that right now.
Jim's here all the
Please
time.
commit to that right now.
Awesome. So we have, I'm throwing in a curveball here. It's penultimate question, and then you could ask the final question if that sounds good. What the hell is a wookalar?
Oh, I don't ever tell anyone what a wookalar is. People do know the answer to that. There is an answer of what a wookalar is, just as there is an answer to what a willowaw is, and what a tacit wobbegong is.
Okay.
The joys of studying with Jim. All right, here's our last one for you. What do you hope people say about you as a teacher when you're not in earshot?
Whether they say it or not, I would hope that the people who've taken classes with me are able to tell that I really care about them and doing a good job for them, and that I really appreciate that they support the work that I do.
Good answer. I feel like this conversation is.
They can also be like the best freaking puns ever too. That would
Without a
I would be
doubt.
okay with that.
What about props? So you want props for your props?
Oh, the props are pretty awesome. I do like the props.
Did you like a Gallagher? Was that? No, wait. Like the comedian? Yeah.
Not the John.
Yeah.
The John. When you
one-on-one.
mentioned like smushing watermelons with a sledgehammer, the John gave you the sort of pain smile of like, do you know how many times
That's true.
I have heard that?
Yeah.
Although I did
Really?
try to convince him that if he got like herbs and smushed them with a sledgehammer, right?
How many people would get that these days? I don't know.
But that would be fine because it's
If
okay.
you know, you know.
It's
That would
okay
be
if
funny.
jokes are for like 2 people.
Yeah, that is a Jim thing.
One of them, me.
It's been awesome. Thank you for being our first guest. Thank you. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Herbalists After Hours. All right. Episode 1. Cool.
It's not too late.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't missed my walk. There's not people.
We could have had cider, but we failed. But
failed,
yeah.
yeah.
Next time.
We're gonna keep
Episode 2.
cooking.
Yeah,
Episode 2.
that's right. All right. Thank you, Jim.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go.
Oh, yeah. Do your thing. All right. Bye.
Toodaloo.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Herbalists After Hours. If you enjoyed this episode, then we know you're gonna love this one.
You're also going to love this one. And if you enjoyed today's episode, pretty please go ahead and give it a big old thumbs up. Also, feel free to subscribe and leave a comment below with any takeaways you may have had.
And don't miss a thing with us. Head over to folkmethodology.com and join our newsletter.
See you in the next episode.